Episode 2, and believe it or not, still no hyperfeminism. It's sad that we kind of got to look at it that way. It's almost like this sort of ticking time bomb of expectation, and that we're anticipating, mainly because of how it was promoted, the main trailer, first trailer that was released, and people are anticipating this again, hyperfeminism. And we go to the first episode, which I did review, and it didn't really have it. And this episode had virtually none of it. And I will give credit where it's due, being completely fair, no matter how you feel about it, and I know this is what's going to happen, is that a lot of people have an inability to look at it objectively because of their expectation. I even saw this with the Captain Marvel thing, which I did a lot of videos on, certainly after it was released, but you had a lot of people, unfortunately, going at it with an expectation that it was going to be one thing. So they already had their mind up. And you can even tell with some of their reviews, it was almost as if they didn't even really see the movie. They were just going on these sorts of rants, let's say, namely on Brie Larson, not even on the movie itself. And that's one thing I've always tried to stray away from, not being just outraged just to be outraged. I don't even like to get lumped in with those types of YouTubers that just are mad just to be mad. Certainly when it comes to this, it's comic book related. I stick to my lane, and I actually criticize things of merit. And I analyze it as such, no matter what my expectation is why I'm always careful with what I say prior to something being released. Because there's a chance that I could be wrong about something, or what I anticipate or what I expect, maybe the opposite in terms of what the actual material is. Now, so far, we're only 2 episodes in with Batwoman, and this episode, again, it still doesn't have that hyperfeminism. The episode, and this is what I say when I got to get credit where it's due. It's a good episode. Like, I'm going to be 100 with you. I was kind of bugged by the whole Alice thing because I thought it was too early. I thought that was way too early. I thought they could have saved that. The fact that they just kind of revealed that immediately was too early. At least that's what I thought. But then looking at this next episode, it seems that Alice, who some of you guys know, spoiler alert if you don't, she's the twin sister who they thought was killed in this car crash along with her mother. It's revealed that that's who Alice is. Again, that's canon too. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty early, but it looks like they threw her in there solely to kind of throw a wrench in the family dynamic between not only just Batwoman or Kate Kane and her father, but also with the stepsister, stepmother, as well as, again, Kate, and even with her own sister, Alice, who got captured at the end of this show, along with, so she's being sent to Arkham. Well, that was what we thought, right? So what ends up being revealed is that I believe the stepmother was behind this in terms of, okay, so she was captured, right? Alice was, and again, transported. It never goes according to plan, right? Something blows up. She ends up getting separated. And it looks like so far that her stepmother was behind it. That's what it looks like. And it's almost like she didn't want her husband now, which again would be the mother of Alice, to know that that's who it is. And you even see this through flashbacks and through some of the ending scene. You even see her father, Kate's father, sort of not wanting to face reality that because Alice is killing and stuff, that could be his daughter. And plus along, he's gotten sort of over this idea that she's even alive anyway. So to have her be alive, it's almost worse to have her be alive and to be this sort of criminal, right? So the family dynamic is all jacked right now, and it's starting to come into fruition. And I didn't see that coming. So that I thought it was early, and it doesn't really seem that way. They're going a different route. We also And this is why I say it's kind of not really hyper feminism at all in this show, which if you look at, and again, not in the show, I'm saying through the first 2 episodes, if you watch the trailer, you look at Sophie, who looks like the love interest. Obviously, Kate's clinging on to this, to her. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but she ends up marrying, Sophie that is, marrying some other dude, like a dude. So it's funny that his stepsister, along with Kate, they had a dinner and they're sort of talking about her sexuality. And like, oh, what's up with that? Like, oh, I thought she was, going the other way. You know what I mean? But she's with this dude. And I thought that was interesting because it's like by the end of the episode, Sophie's like, dude, it's not happening. I'm happy. I'm married. There is no us. And you can tell throughout these couple of episodes, she was kind of clinging on to this idea of Kate. She was kind of foul as well because she's all like, if I knew that you were going to get married, I would have came back and I would have stopped that from happening. And that's kind of a bold thing to say to somebody that's married, right? But that's what it seems that Alice was there for. To throw a complete, it's a crap show at this point, but in a good way, if you can consider that a good thing, in a good way that it helps with the dramatics of the entire episode. And again, it's still kind of difficult to get over that depiction of Luke Fox. But we did get some interesting things regarding Batman, and that Luke didn't have an entire grasp of Batman's equipment, which I think is interesting because it does point to the intellect of Batman. And when he's talking about the weapons and all of this stuff, he's like, yes, all of these are things that I helped design. But in actuality, knowing how to use some of this equipment, I really don't know. That's something that's almost exclusive to Batman. So, but again, remember, if you watch the first episode, there's no hate for Batman now that she knows that Batman was actually trying to save her entire family in that crash. That's why she had the vendetta against. I still can't get over that age gap between them. I don't like that. It's one thing between that and Luke Fox are things that I dislike about this show. I don't think I can get over it unless something's going to change drastically with that. We got a Lucius Fox mention as well throughout it. But the entire show, or the episode rather, it's a solid episode. Like it's a solid episode. There's some things that I didn't see coming. And like I said, if you go into it thinking that it's it does have a lot of dramatics for it, and it has that more, like I said, if this is something that you're going to watch, I would encourage you to watch it with your lady. I think this is a good sort of thing that maybe you can get something out of in terms of a show. I'm not sure that this would be something, if it wasn't comic book related, would I be interested in it? Aside from, it does have the soap opera stuff feel to it, which is what you should expect out of a CW show at this point. It does go that route. There wasn't even a whole lot of action in this episode, and we'll see if that picks up at all. But again, I think it can be okay. It reminds me a lot of Supergirl, and this is why I say it's a little more darker than Supergirl, but it reminds me of Supergirl in the sense that that's something that I'll more so watch with, I could watch with the lady. I don't know if I'd watch that by myself, or more so something that I'd be interested in because of the theme of the show. Now, when I say it reminds me of Supergirl, remember that was the review that got this channel off, or took the channel off into the stratosphere, was my Supergirl review. That was after multiple seasons, though. So this has a lot of time to screw this up. Just so you guys know, she does not look like Batwoman yet. Doesn't have the red hair kind of poking out of the red wig attached to the suit. She's still rocking just a sort of altered Batman suit that was, let's say, tailor-made for her. And you're starting to see that the public think, because they're spotting her, so you're starting to see the public like, is Batman back? And so forth. And Luke doesn't really like that because it's like, dude, you came back. You're giving people this sort of false sense of hope, and they're expecting something that's not actually here. So he doesn't like it, and understandably so, because that's his guy. But there's still a lot of people that are a part of this that I'm interested in to see if they're gonna pop up. We still don't know why in the world Batman, where he's been, why he's been gone for 3 years. When you consider the rest of the Bat family, where are they? Why does Luke this? Like, it's a whole lot of questions that need to be answered in order for this to make sense. I hope they just don't act like they don't exist. I believe so far in the first couple of episodes, as far as some of the more important things that they got right, if you're in the canon with this character, they have got right. A lot of it's canon, right? And you can respect it. But there's some holes, and we'll see where that goes. I don't know how long the first season is going to be. They have a lot of time to screw this up. And I think that's what a lot of people are anticipating. Like, oh, well, it's going to be a hyper-feminism. Episode 1, episode 2, we haven't got that. We haven't got that, to be fair. That doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. But I think that this episode, to recap, was much better just analyzing it without sort of the expectation. If you just analyze it on its own, it's way better than the first episode. But it does put a lot of the first episode into context, which is good because a lot of people, along with myself, was like, look, man, the Red Alice thing, to have that pop off is weird. But they did a good job. She's not there for the long term, and you can tell she's specifically there to mess up the family dynamic, which is exactly what she did. There's some turmoil between Kate and her stepsister because she tried to have her killed. She's like, you're my sister, Alice said is. You got, again, the father not wanting to come to terms with this. We get it a reveal that stepmother's behind a lot of this. She's trying to hide like the knife because it's like she doesn't want people to understand who this is. So we're going to get some more details on that, obviously. But just all of that all around, it just really, it makes for an interesting episode, and it puts a lot of the first episode in context. So just looking at it like that, it's way better than the first episode. But we'll see. We got some time. Will this turn into a hyper-feminism fest, much like, not even hyper-feminism, which is what you can argue that Supergirl turned into, but it wasn't really that with Supergirl. It was just progressive politics that just got so corny. It was so bad. But we'll see. Will it go that route? I think that's what a lot of people are anticipating. And at least through the first 2 episodes, we haven't gotten that.